has been mathematically coded into neural networks. So neural networks are the fundamental of artificial intelligence and deep learning. And these neural networks have the ability to self-learn and self-correct. Like how we learn from our mistakes, and the whole process is controlled by the neurons in our brain, which interact with one another and put us on the right way. So the same thing has been modeled in neural networks. So if you are looking at a typical neural network, let us say you will have input layer, so neural networks, also called as multi-layer perceptrons. Multi-layer perceptron, MLP. In Python, we call them as multi-layer perceptron. So let us say we have two inputs and then three neurons. We have three neurons, one hidden layer. That means one hidden layer with three neurons when we have this output. Now, let us say I have a data like this. I have independent variable 1, x2, and y. So I have the observations as 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So I will try to model this observation. So here we have two inputs and one output. Two independent variables, one dependent variables. So this is the input will be passed to every neuron. Every neuron will get the input from the input layer. Similarly, every neuron will pass the second input through each of them. And all the neurons also send the output to the one processing layer, and then let us say we'll put the arrows. So basically, this is an artificial neural network 2, 3, 1. That means two inputs, hidden layer with three neurons, hidden layer with three neurons, and the output. So I'm modeling this observation. So input is 1, 1, output is 0. This is called I1. This is input 2. Now, the algorithm will randomly assign weights. The algorithm will randomly assign weights to all the connectors or arrows, to all the arrows, say between 0 and 1. So it randomly assigns weights to all the connectors. So let us say it has assigned 0.8, it has assigned 0.4, it assigned 0.5, it assigned 0.2, 0.9, and 0.3. So let us say it has assigned these weights. This is random weight generation, which you will not have any control. You will have no control on this random weight generation. Only thing is you have to give the range. Whether the range should be between 0 or 1, or whether it should be between 0.0012 or multiples of 0.1. This we call it as learning rate. The weights will be adjusted. For larger calculations, the weights will be given in smaller proportion. So larger things, it will be given, sorry, this is 0.3. This is your 0.3. This is 0.5. And also for the output, it gives 0.3, 0.5, and 0.9. Okay. So it assigns random weights like this. So this is a 2-3-1 network, which is being used to model the observation 1-1-0. So let us get back to the Excel sheet and model this observation. So input. What is our input? 1, 1. Sorry, 1. Random weights. Random weights generated by the algorithm are 0.8, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.9, and 0.5. This is your random weight assignment. These random weights will be assigned. Then it will calculate the hidden value, hidden layer neuron values using the formula sigma I n into W n. That means inputs into weight sigma, input into weight sigma. So it will multiply and sum up. So like this. So if I want to calculate the first hidden layer value, 1 into 0.8, input 1 into weight 1 plus input 2 into weight 4. So input 1 into weight 1 plus input 2 into weight 4. You will get as 1. Similarly, input 1 into weight 2 plus input 2 into weight 5. So input 1 into weight 2, input 2 into weight 5. You got 1.3 is equal to input 1 into weight 3 plus input 2 into weight 6. So we got these hidden layer neuron values. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, within this hidden neuron lies activation functions. Within the hidden neuron, in the neurons, you will have activation functions that process the data. The function which we are going to use is sigmoid. We will use sigmoid function. The formula is 1 divided by open bracket 1 plus exp to the power of minus z. So that is this sigma in into wn, we call it as z. You can put it z is equal to sigma in into weight n. So there are many activation functions within neural networks, but the most popular activation function is sigmoid. 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z. Sigmoid function is nothing but your logistic regression. Sigmoid function is nothing but your logistic regression. E to the power of intercept plus beta 1 x1 divided by 1 plus e to the power of intercept plus beta 1 x1. If you write it in a shorter format, it is 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z. Z is equal to intercept plus b1 x1 b2 x2. So the activation function will process the data in the neurons. The neurons will have an activation function. The popular activation function is sigmoid. We also have other functions like hyperbolic tangent called tanh function. We also have rectified linear unit also called as ReLU function. We also have leaky ReLU. So there are many activation functions are there, but the most used is sigmoid. So once the values, Z values are calculated, the algorithm will apply sigmoid activation on this value. So sigmoid activation is equal to 1 divided by 1 plus exp to the bracket of minus, select the cell where you have 1. So you are activating. So the hidden layer value will be activated using a sigmoid function is equal to 1 divided by open bracket 1 plus exp open bracket minus and select the cell where you have the hidden layer value. So it will be 0.7310586. You can drag the formula down. So now the sigmoid activated values are 0.7310, 0.7858 and 0.689974 is the sigmoid activated values. The actual output weights, are 0.3, 0.5 and 0.9. So these 9 weights will be assigned at the beginning of the algorithm. These 9 weights will be assigned at the beginning of the algorithm. The 6 input weights and the 3 output weights will be the assignment at the beginning of the algorithm itself. So once you have these weights, you do this sum product. Sum product means is equal to 0.731065 into 0.3 plus 0.7858 into 0.5 plus 0.68997 into 0.9. So you multiply the sigmoid activations with the corresponding output weights and then you add all of them. All right. So you get 1.233. So this is your output layer value. Now we need to do the sigmoid activation. Output sigmoid is equal to 1 divided by open bracket 1 plus exp open bracket minus 1.2332. So you get a value of 0.7743808. What is our actual target? Actual target is, as per the data, is 0. So this is nothing but probability. This is nothing but probability. Now, what was the classification rule? Probability greater than equal to 0.50 will be classified as 1. Probability less than 0.50 will be classified as 0. So based on this argument, what will be the classification of this probability?
1.
1. But the actual value is what? The data says the actual y value is 0. That means the algorithm is predicting it wrong. Right?
Yes.
So all of you have done the calculation till this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the algorithm has predicted it wrong because based on this probability, it will be classified as 1, whereas the actual classification is 0. So the algorithm has predicted it wrong. Now, for the predicted class to be 0, what should be the probability? If I want the predicted probability class to be 0, what should be my predicted probability?
Less than 0.5.
Yes, you must bring it to less than 0.50. You should need not make it 0. All you have to do is bring it to less than 0.50. Now, that process, we call it as backward propagation. Backward propagation is the process of adjusting all the weights. All the weights must be adjusted such that the error is reduced. In backward propagation, you cannot ignore one weight. All the weights must be adjusted to reduce the error. That is the concept of backward propagation. So backward propagation is a method where we reduce errors by adjusting the weights. All weights must be adjusted. All weights must be adjusted to reduce error. You can't ignore one weight. All the weights must be adjusted to reduce error. That is called the backward propagation. The backward propagation is that. So we start the backward propagation by calculating the error or residual. What is error or residual?
Actual
What is the
minus
formula for error or
predicted.
residual?
Actual minus
Actual
predicted.
minus predicted. Minus predicted. So the error is minus 0.77438. Okay. Once you calculate the error, you have to use something called derivative of sigmoid. The derivative of sigmoid. The derivative of sigmoid, the formula is sigmoid of x multiplied by 1 minus sigmoid of x. So this is the formula for calculating the derivative of the sigmoid. Sigmoid of x multiplied by sigmoid of multiplied by 1 minus sigmoid of x. So I will just show you the derivation of sigmoid of derivative of a sigmoid. So the derivative of a sigmoid. So this is the calculation or derivation of the derivative of a sigmoid. Derivative of x by derivative of x is equal to 1 minus e to the power of minus z. This is your derivative, what you call sigmoid activation. The final output is sigmoid of x multiplied by 1 minus sigmoid of x. So this is the derivative of a sigmoid. This is the derivation, how it is derived. So we will use this derivative of a sigmoid. So what is our sigmoid? 0.77438 is equal to 0.77438 into open bracket 1 minus 0.77438. So derivative of sigmoid of 0.77438083 is 0.17475. So first you need to calculate the error. Then after calculating the error, you need to calculate the derivative of the sigmoid. The formula is sigmoid of x multiplied by 1 minus sigmoid of x. So you will get 0.174715. Got it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Then multiply column J with column I. That means you are multiplying derivative of sigmoid with error. You are multiplying column J is what? Derivative of sigmoid value with the error. That means is equal to this into this. So multiply the column J, which is your sigmoid, derivative of sigmoid with error. You will get minus 0.1352962. Now divide column K K with column D. So we are dividing this value with the hidden layer sigmoids. We are dividing minus 0.1352962 with hidden layer sigmoids. That means is equal to this, fix it by pressing F4. Some laptops it is Fn plus F4 and divided by the hidden layer sigmoid. So we will divide the column K value with column D value. So column K will be the numerator, column D will be your denominator, K is your multiplication of error and sigmoid, and column D is your hidden sigmoid activation, 0.73, 0.78. So, and then you can drag your formula down. Now, this we call it as delta output weights. Delta means you will deduct them from the original weights. So, the new output weights, the new corrected output weights are is equal to 0.3 plus, this is a negative, so I am using plus sign. You'll get 0.11. If you drag it, these are the new output weights. So in the second iteration, the algorithm will replace the actual output weights with this new output weights. So in the next iteration, it will replace these actual output weights with this new output weights. What is new output weights? Original output weight plus the delta weight. Delta weight is negative, so we are deducting it, and we are trying to reduce the error. So we are trying to reduce the error. Okay, all of you got the new output weights?
Sir,
Yes, please.
why did we multiply column J with column I?
See, this is all the part of the formula, backward propagation formula.
Okay, got it, sir.
So this is all the backward formula. I am not showing you the large derivations. I'm just simplifying it for you to understand the backward propagation. Actually, there are a lot of derivatives which are calculated.
Got
Okay.
it, sir.
So based on that, we are calculating. So the first step in backward propagation is multiply the derivative with the error. Second step is what you call next step is divide the error that multiplied by this minus with the output weight, hidden layer sigmoids. You will get the delta output weights, then you will get the new output weights. So we have adjusted the three output weights. Now we will start the process of adjusting the what we call the input weights. So
Sir,
we will, yes,
sorry,
please.
sorry to interrupt. Just one doubt before proceeding further.
Yes,
So,
please.
so how did we get the actual output rate? So whether it was already given to us or
It
whether
is initiated at the beginning of the algorithm, random generation of weights.
Okay, okay,
These 9 weights are randomly generated at the beginning of the algorithm. This 6 and this 3.
okay, got it.
And this is the first step, in fact, in neural networks. Initializing the weights of all the connectors in the neural network.
Okay,
Okay.
got it, sir.
Okay. Now we will divide column K. Divide column K with original output weights, which is column E. Column E. That means is equal to this, again fix it by pressing F4, divided by the original actual output weights. So you get minus 0.540987 and you drag the formula down, you will get it. So this is the thing. So for correcting the input weights, first we will divide the column K, which is the multiplication of error and sigmoid, with the actual output weights. So minus 0.1352 divided by 0.3, minus 0.1352 divided by 0.5. minus 0.1352 divided by 0.9. You get these values. Once you get these values, you will multiply column n values with derivative of sigmoid of the column D values. So you have your hidden sigmoids, right? So column D. So that means is equal to this into open bracket the sigmoid 0.731056 into open bracket 1 minus this derivative, close two brackets. So you will multiply the column n value with derivative of sigmoid of column D. That means 0.731059 into 1 minus 0.731059. So we get 0.86. You can drag this formula down. So this is your multiplication of column n with hidden layer sigmoids. Hidden layer sigmoids. So D column is the sigmoid 0.7105, 0.7858, and 0.6899. So you are multiplying this. Now the delta input weights will be this column divided by 1. Both the inputs are 1, so we will copy and paste the same values. So drag it down again is equal to copy and drag it down because the input is 1, right? So you divide this both what 1. These 3 weights are for input 1. These 3 weights are for input 2. Okay, these are the delta input weights. Now from these delta input weights, we will calculate the new input weights. We will get the new input weights. So the new input weights are is equal to 0.8 plus this thing. Okay, and this is the new input weight. You can drag the formula down. These are your new input weights. In the second iteration, these new input weights will be used as part of the calculation. So we have completed one epoch. Epoch 1 means the data passing through complete neural network, both feed forward and backward propagation. So we have corrected the weights. Now we have to, it will take these new weights and do the iteration 2. In the iteration 2, it will replace these new weights, input weights and output weights, and then calculate and then see whether the probability is less than 0.50 or not. All of you got this? So this is the process. It repeats for every observation in your data. So I will copy the values. Control C, give one row gap, go to home, paste special, formulas and number formatting. I paste it as formulas and number formatting and save it. Now I'll go to the previous calculation. I'll copy the new output weights, Control C, and I'll replace them with the actual input output weights. So paste special, numbers and formatting. Similarly, I'll go back to the new input weights, collect them, Control C, come to the iteration 2, paste numbers and values and number formatting, save. Now the input 2, the iteration 2 has predicted the probability as 0.69. Still it is above 0.50, but the error has reduced. Right? So I have updated the weights in the next iteration. Then the probability is 0.6917258. So the error has reduced. So let me copy this whole calculation again. Control C and paste it with one row gap, paste special, formulas and number formatting. Control S. Now in the second iteration, we will get new output weights again. Copy this new output weights and replace with this old output weights, numbers and values formatting. In the previous iteration, we also get the new input weights, copy them, Control C, and then paste them with the new input weights. Control yes. Now the probability is 0.59. So it is still reduced to 0.59. So from 0.69, it came down to 0.59. So maybe in the next iteration, it will be less than 0.50, and we will be reaching our goal. So Control C, one row gap, paste special, formulas and number formatting, Control S. I'll go to the previous calculation, check the new output weights, Control C, and replace them with the old output weights, values and number formatting. And I will also go back to the new input weights, Control C, and replace them with the old input weights. Now we have reached our goal. The probability is 0.48. The observation will be classified as 0. So it has taken 4 epochs. So it has taken 4 epochs. So this is your epoch 2. This is your epoch 3. And then this is your epoch 4. So in 4 iterations, it has self-corrected it. And the probability is now 0.48. It will be classified as 0. It will stop, and then it will go to the next observation. This is the process of backward propagation and how neural networks self-correct and self-adjust the weights. Got it, participants, all of you?
Yes, sir. Sir, here, like, if we increase the hidden layer, so then there is a chance of the attending the lesser probability at earlier stage itself, right? So, like, instead of going
You
for.
are saying increasing the neurons in the hidden layer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can try that. So for the same calculation, you can add a couple of weights. One more neuron or 2 more neurons means you have to add 4 weights and randomly assign some value to them and then see what changes it happens. See, typically the more neurons, the logic is the more number of neurons you have, the higher the chances of correct prediction. What you are saying is true. But it is not always true, but most of the times it is true. Most of the times it is true.
Got it.
Okay. So this is, I'll send you the sheet, you can look at it. Now in hyperparameter tuning, in neural networks, the most important part of the network is hyperparameter tuning. Hyperparameter tuning, because you need to give many parameters in neural networks. The first is number of hidden layers or number of neurons per hidden layer. How many neurons should I give per hidden layer? Typically, it ranges from 10 to 100, or you should give minimum neurons equivalent to the number of inputs or variables. Number of inputs or variables. You should give minimum neurons equivalent to the number of inputs or variables. So let us suppose say you have 20 variables. That means the neurons must be Minimum 20, you can give 30 or 40 also, that's not a problem. You have to give the neurons. The second important thing you need to understand here is the activation functions. You need to specify the activation function. Now, there are many activation functions. The most prominent activation functions are linear, the linear function, which is f of x is equal to x. The second is sigmoid, which is 1 by 1 plus e to the power of minus z, and z is the equation multiplied by this. The third is hyperbolic tangent, also called as tan h. It is e to the power of z minus e to the power of minus z, e to the power of z plus e to the power of minus z. E is the exponential. Hey, can any one of you check whether the hyperbolic tangent formula is correct or not? Just please check. The fourth one is rectified linear unit. Rectified linear unit, also called as ReLU. This is the default in most of the neural network algorithms. So it will be 0 if x less than 0, 1 if x greater than, sorry, x less than 0, I have used greater than, sorry. So if x is less than 0, it will be classified as 0. Any negative value also will be classified as 0. 1 if x is greater than 0. Or you can say max of 0 comma z. Max of 0 comma z. Rectified linear unit. Anybody check the hyperbolic tangent equation? Is
Yes, sir, it's correct.
Correct only, right?
Yes,
Minus only, right? Yeah. So we have these activation functions you need to check, and for multinomial softmax function, if it is a multinomial function, you have to give softmax. Softmax, again I forgot, e to the power of z, I think. Softmax function. Sigmoid is for binary. Softmax is e to the power of z by e to the power of zi. Sigma. So e to the power of z by sigma k is equal to 1 e to the power of z. Sigma k j is equal to 1. So sigma k j is equal to 1. So softmax, this is for multinomial. If your problem is multinomial, the last layer must be sigmoid. If you are doing binary, then sigmoid. Sigmoid is for binary function. If there are more than 2 levels you are predicting, then you have to use softmax function. So these are the activation functions predominantly used. Then the third parameter is the learning rate. The learning rate must be specified in multiples of, generally the software uses 0.001, because the computation is intense, it will take even lesser than that. This is the rate at which the weights will be adjusted. Fourth, regularization. So there is regularization. So regularization is also very important in case of underfitting and overfitting. Did you guys study underfitting and overfitting? So these regularized or penalized algorithms will be there. L1 is lasso, L2 is ridge, and L3 is elastic net. These are penalized algorithms. You have regularization also when you are doing it. Fifth, the maximum iterations. You also have to specify maximum iterations. Like how I did epochs, right? Epochs. You have to specify the maximum iterations. How many times it must try to correct the outcome. How many times the algorithm must try to correct the outcome. So this is also very, very important. Maximum iterations also need to be specified. Let me see what else is there. Yes, PySpark MLP classifier. MLP classifier sklearn. Let us see the Python version that's similar only. You also need to specify the solver. You also need to specify the solvers. So a solver must also be specified. Solver must be specified. By default, solver is like your gradient descent. Solver must be specified. It can be gradient descent, Adam, Adagrad. There are different versions of gradient descent, and stochastic gradient also. Stochastic gradient descent must be specified. You also have to specify the solver, and you also have to specify one more thing, which is what? Solver alpha batch size. So batch size is when we discuss your image processing, that time we will do how many images should be used as batch, each batch. Learning rate, max iterations we have discussed, momentum, early stopping is true. If you see early stopping means if it has done earlier thing, if the correction is received earlier, you have to say early stopping is equal to true. So let us see PySpark MLP classifier, what we have. So the multi-layer perceptron in Python API documents. So here is 100 is the maximum iterations. Layers is equal to none. Block size is 128. Batch size. Step size is 0.03. Solver is LBFGS. What other solvers we have? We can see here. Solver is what? Solver will be more actually. What are the solvers we have? PySpark guys have reduced the documentation somehow. Controller solver. So solver is equal to LBFGS. What about other solvers? That solver, name solver. So solver option supported is LBFGS and GD. GD is your gradient descent. So solver option is GD, gradient descent is there. So we can use this. Apart from solver, do we need to give anything else? I don't think we need to give anything else. So these are the parameters you need to tune within the neural networks. So once I do a deep learning example, then I can explain you in a better how which things will be more useful. So this is the brief theoretical background of your neural networks. Any doubts, participants? You can ask me now if you have any doubts.
No, sir, not yet as of now. So, is it possible for you to explain the lasso and ridge in the upcoming class?
What is the last? Can you be a little loud? I can't hear you.
Lasso and Ridge. Lasso and Ridge
Lasso.
in the next class, next upcoming classes.
Yes, yes,
Can you
we'll
explain?
implement it, right? We'll implement it. So that time I will tell you because it's already 9:30.
Yes, sir.
So when we are implementing it, I will in the next class, I will start explaining again.
Sure, sir. Answer bagging is very much similar to boosting.
No, bagging is repetitive. Observations will repeat, right?
Right, sir.
Observations will repeat. Here, we are using sequential, right?
Yes, sir.
So first difference is that is parallel building. This is what you call sequential building.
Yes, sir.
And then we have what you call data with replacement and data without replacement. We have
Right.
data with replacement and data without replacement, right? The data methodologies. Other than that, everything is same.